All right, this is just kind of random. I just want to record because I guess the topic of this is kind of going to be all over the place a little bit, but the main, point that I want to get across is being gentle with yourself and learning to have compassion for yourself, for your inner child, for everything you're working through, knowing that you are going to be okay in the long run. And the only reason I say that is because I need that message myself right now. I woke up a little later than usual. I woke up at like 9, and I ended up not getting out of bed till 10:30. Rolled out of bed, was lazy, didn't want to go to the gym, but I pushed myself. I went to the gym, came home, and I was debating, oh my God, like it's late now, like I need to go to the office. Like I was supposed to work a double today and I got off in the morning. So now that means I have to put in work into the office and be able to make calls and be present for myself there and showing them and everybody in the office that I am here, that I want this, and then I said, relax. What do you need right now? Because you're going to make calls tomorrow and you're going to make calls Sunday. And what it sounded like to me was that I needed to just ground myself just for a second. So I sat here and I said, I'm going to make breakfast. I'm going to have protein pancakes today. I'm going to have a nice little banana shake, and I'm going to sit down and watch a video that's going to help my emotional intelligence, my emotional growth, my emotional regulation routine. And so I sat here, I watched one of my favorite girls, Tam, on YouTube, and I was watching her video, and I realized this is what I needed today. I needed to sit the fuck down, relax, be gentle with myself, remind myself that I am working so hard, not just on my career and what I want my financial stability to look like further down the line, and that I want to be out of the restaurant one day, but I'm also working on myself and I'm working on all the self love that I'm trying to give myself. I'm working on all the emotional trauma that I'm trying to get rid of in order for me to be able to not only take care of myself better, but to help you, to be able to share all of that information and knowledge and everything that helped me be better and grow into this new version of myself, into reaching my future self and my highest potential, so that you can do that as well. So I'm sitting here, I'm watching her video, and I'm realizing, I took one day off for myself, and it's not even a like realistically, it's not a full day. It's more so like a morning before I go into the restaurant. In order for me to be able to just make this kind of video for you guys and post it next Thursday. But then I realized, I meditate, I journal, but I'm not really, what I've noticed is I'm not really doing a lot of shadow work like I used to in the beginning. And shadow work is just being able to go into my brain, going into an experience or a moment where my childhood trauma stemmed from, or where I had a limiting belief about myself, where I felt very insecure, or I had a lot of self doubt, or I didn't believe in myself. I was just constantly in my sad girl moment, and I felt judged constantly, or I felt like I needed to be a specific way, or I told myself I couldn't do, this YouTube, or open up about certain emotions or situations, or be vulnerable, or I didn't want anybody to think of me as an idiot for going back to a person over and over again and not realizing, well, I have to have compassion for myself and leave, like all these things that I would just feed my brain, all these negative things. And so I need to go back to that. I need to go back to doing that shadow work, to looking up on Google, which is one of the things that Tam was saying in her video, and looking up shadow work journaling questions and answering those questions with myself when I journal, instead of just journaling my emotions, which there's nothing wrong with that either, but making sure that in one of those journal entries that I do throughout the week, I am working on some more shadow work the same way I used to in the beginning. Still going to therapy. I'm still, doing all the things that I want to be doing. But this is the beauty about being able to hop into a moment like this where just you just relax and you chill and you say, okay, what can I do that's going to better my journey already that I'm on. And, in the back of my head, I'm like, she's going to talk about, before I even clicked on the video, I said, she's going to talk about all things that I'm already working on. But I stepped out of that and I said, I'm going to watch it. It's 34 minutes. And out of all of the things she's going to say, I know I'm going to learn something new or incorporate something new into what I'm already doing myself. So I did. And it was a reminder to me. It was a reminder to be able to look into more shadow work journaling. I already read, of course. She mentioned reading. She mentioned so many different things aside from just working on my shadow work. She mentioned affirmations. She mentioned, going back into the limiting beliefs and why I think that, and then working past it, stepping into my future self instead of worrying about past beliefs that I had about myself when I was 14, 13, 15, 11, 9, whatever it was. Um, she talked about a lot of things, and I am constantly always going to put her in my info box, like in my little description, because she is somebody that I go to for just any sort of video that I feel resonates with what I'm going through currently. And also things that I want to work on or things that I have questions about with myself. And I'm not gonna lie, things that she mentioned, I just didn't want to incorporate. And then I realized I was like, why don't I want to incorporate more shadow work journaling? And it's like, because maybe I'm afraid to go back in and work through that. And I can't be afraid. I have to face that. I have to work through that. That's how I'm going to get to my highest potential. That's how I'm going to figure out what it is that I really need in order for me to grow into setting healthy boundaries or healthy limits with people. So I'm not hurt again or put in positions where my past trauma is coming back in different forms. So I just wanted to come on here and say, if you're going through this journey, be gentle with yourself and set a day for self care, whether it's emotional self care or if it's physical self care. If you want to go out and hit the gym and then come home, meditate, and then make breakfast and stretch, yoga, whatever it is that you do, do that. If you want to focus on emotional self care, sit down, watch somebody else's video on YouTube that's going to resonate with what you feel troubled with, and journal, meditate. Even when you're stretching, just think of all the things that you need to work through and answer those questions on a piece of paper. Make sure you talk to yourself kindly. You're constantly saying affirmations, be gentle with yourself. Know that whatever it is that you're for, that whatever it is that you're working towards, it's gonna come. And that's what I have to remind myself for. So this is me telling this to myself too. You know, I want to make calls. I want to be on top of things. I want people to know I want this just as bad as they had it, or just as bad as they're having it right now. Like, going to the office every single day, or making sure that they show up at a certain time every day. Like, yeah, I want that too, but I also want to not forget about what I'm doing for myself emotionally and physically, because that is also contributing to my health, to my future. So this is just a quick message and a quick video that I wanted to put out there, because I think it's so important. And I was gonna rush into the office, and I'm too into my head about wanting to please these other people in the office so that they know that I'm here and that I'm present and that I want this super bad and that I'm not gonna slack off. And then that's when I start forgetting about me, and I can't. Like, that's just not happening. I have to remember that there is a time to rest and there is a time to work hard. And today is one of those days where I want to rest. I want to, before I go into the restaurant later at 4, I want to dedicate some time to learning something different about myself. And I don't really get these days. Most days I'm in, rushing. So when I'm getting these days where I'm just like, sit fucking still real quick and just relax. You don't need to be rushing right now. You have the weekend for the calls you're going to make, all the calls you're going to make. Today, focus on making sure that you're good. And this was it. It was like, it just kind of happened. I just kind of sat here, I ate my food, and I was watching her video, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to rush to the office today. I'm going to journal, I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to look for some shadow work journaling prompts so that I can work on that. And I felt like this was just an important message to give off because we're living in a world where we're constantly rushing, and we constantly are, chasing certain things, or chasing, money, making sure that our family's good, or making sure that we're good, and that we are financially stable and everything. And absolutely, as you should, but also don't forget about yourself. If you have a moment to yourself where you have the option to, be able to sit down with yourself for a second, absolutely do that. If that requires you to wake up a little bit earlier before you go into work, absolutely do that. One step at a time. Don't rush into a whole self care era, healing era routine. Healing is going to take its own time, and it's going to take its course. So just be gentle with yourself. If you have a moment where you're feeling like what I was feeling today, like, oh, I could either do this or I could do that, choose yourself first, because you're going to have so much more time to work for the rest of your life, I promise you. Granted, you should always stay on top of your shit and don't lose track, but it is okay if you decide one morning you want to dedicate it to yourself before you go and hop into work the next minute, you know? So, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that I could possibly share with you right now in regards to what I was experiencing. And I look like crap because I got off the gym, like I said, and I started eating, and I was watching this YouTube video, and I just felt like recording. And I love that. Like, it just nourishes my soul. Like, I watch her videos and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm stepping into my future self right now. This is me stepping into my future self right now. Me about to journal and meditate right after this video, that's me stepping into my future self. That's me taking care of my needs, making sure that I'm working past my trauma, past my hurt, past any situation that put me in a rut at one point. I want to work through that. I want to make sure that I regulate my emotions, like making sure that I'm not all over the place, that I'm not rushing, that I don't feel a certain way, that my emotions are not all over the place. I want to work through all of that. And just sitting here today right now, I wanted you guys to get that message. As crazy as I look right now, I wanted to give off that message because it is so important. So, yeah, it was just a quick little reminder for yourself to be gentle, to have compassion, to know that everything is going to work out in your favor, regardless of whether you decide to make calls today or sit down with yourself for a second and work through emotional things or physical self care things that you have been setting up for yourself to be better. All of it is going to come into fruition, and just trust the universe, trust the process, okay? Have a beautiful day and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Or if I put this out next Thursday, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I'm sending you love.